Dear friends, Salve Maria. Today I thought of sharing with you about a very special saint and about a very special treasure that was entrusted to him by another saint. This saint to whom this treasure belonged was none other than the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Queen of all saints. But what is this treasure that belonged to her? To whom did she entrust it? Join with us to know more. And also do remember to subscribe, like and share this video with all your friends and family. The story of Saint Thomas, one of the 12 apostles, is well known to all of us. Saint Thomas was absent when our Lord appeared to the apostles for the first time, and when he was told about the appearance of the risen Lord, which he had missed, he refused to believe what they told him. Only 8 days later, when Jesus appeared to them again, Saint Thomas could verify the truth. It was then that he believed. At that moment, he made the great proclamation of faith, "My Lord and my God." But the Lord answered and said to him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." From one side, it seems that Jesus rebuked him for his lack of faith. But then, on the other hand, it must have been an invitation of our Lord to grow more and to fortify his faith that was not strong enough. However, as years passed, Saint Thomas became one of the most dedicated apostles due to his preaching the gospel reached up to Persia and India. According to a beautiful tradition, it is said that when he was in one of those distant countries, he happened to receive a message from Saint Peter. He asked him to return to Jerusalem without delay because Mary, the mother of the Lord, was about to depart from this world and wished to bid them farewell. Saint Thomas set off on his return journey and reached the destiny. But sadly, when he reached, the Mother of God had already been placed in the tomb. Apparently, it was a chastisement for his lack of faith in the resurrection. He asked Saint Peter to lead him to the tomb so he could see with his own eyes the body of Our Lady. His request was granted, and after he neared the tomb, he saw to his surprise that the empty tomb was filled only with lilies and roses. At that moment, as he raised his eyes to heaven, Saint Thomas saw Our Lady in glory, already starting her Assumption in the air. With a great joy and also with some sorrow, Saint Thomas must have gazed at Our Lady who was leaving to heaven. She, on her part, had so much pity on him that she untied her belt and placed it in his hands as a symbol of maternal blessing and protection. Many miracles had taken place in the life of this apostle to attest the power of this great treasure. When Saint Thomas had long preached in the kingdom of Narsinga, he reaped very few fruits because the pagan priests of that time tried their best to hinder him. Saint Thomas begged the king to grant him a place where he could build a chapel in order that he might pray and instruct the people. The authorization was denied to him because of the pressure done by the pagan priests and evil ministers. One day, a rare incident took place in this village. A huge tree had fallen upon the river of the town of Meliapore. The size of the tree was such that neither a ship or a boat could pass out or come in. It was a great loss for the king. Then the king assembled 300 elephants to drag the tree out. But unfortunately, everything was in vain. None of his priests or soothsayers could give him counsel. The king promised great and large rewards to the person who could provide a solution. Then the apostle Saint Thomas went to the king and told him that he alone could pull it by himself. As a reward, he wanted nothing but only the same piece of wood to make a chapel. The king granted permission, although both the king and his pagan priests took it for a joke and laughed heartily. St. Thomas then took his girdle and tied it around the piece of wood, and miraculously, without any pain, drew it out of the river. It was the girdle or the belt given by the Blessed Virgin Mary, which St. Thomas always carried with him. And all who saw the incident, especially the king, was so amazed that he gave him without any refusal the same piece of wood as he requested. This miracle led many witnesses of the incident to leave their false beliefs and to embrace baptism to become Catholics. The belt of the Blessed Virgin Mary given to St. Thomas is the relic venerated in the Cathedral of Prato. It arrived in Prato from Jerusalem in 1141, brought by Michael Dagomari. He was a resident of the city who had visited Holy Land. At first, no one attached much importance to that relic of unverified authenticity. However, in 1173, an extraordinary event took place, providentially ensuring that everyone recognized its truth. On the feast day of Saint Stephen, the patron saint of the city, it was customary to place all the relics on the altar to bless the sick and the possessed with them. On that occasion, the box containing the belt of Our Lady was also displayed. A possessed woman approached, and as soon as she touched the box, she began to insist repeatedly that the belt belonged to the Blessed Virgin. At that moment, she was instantly liberated from her possession. Public veneration of the sacred relic began at that time. Saint Francis of Assisi himself visited Prato in 1212 with his early friars to venerate it. Although this devotion has more than 8 centuries of history, the devotion to the Holy Belt of Our Lady is even older, having been established by St. Augustine, who determined the formation of a confraternity of the Holy Belt, which still exists among the Augustinians. So what lesson can we learn from this wonderful fact? As we shared before, we see how St. Thomas doubted in the resurrection and was reproached for his fault and even seemingly chastised. But on the other hand, we see how Providence wanted to pardon him not only with a smile of Our Lady, but also with a constant reminder of her mercy, the holy girdle or the belt. It was an invitation to St. Thomas to climb further the heights of faith and sanctity. This mercy remained with him until the end and fortified his faith. His faith was such that he even willfully endured martyrdom. This mercy that was given to St. Thomas is also promised to me and to you. At the foot of the cross, Jesus gave us to the hands of the Most Holy Virgin, and she assists us desiring our conversion and sanctification. Are we ready to open our hearts to her smile? We may have so many things that are not worthy to present to her within our hearts, but nevertheless, she is ready to gift us with graces that attracts us to heights of holiness. Let us also beseech her to grant us a superabundance of faith like St. Thomas. Although he has been named by some as Doubting Thomas, his strong faith was proved by his apostolic seal and sanctity. St. James the Apostle says that faith without works is dead. So if our faith is not accompanied with virtuous deeds, it may not bear proper fruits. We should remember that we live in a time that has more challenges against the faith than the time of St. Thomas. He had to face challenges of paganism. In our times, it is not just paganism, but a growing spirit of atheism and materialism in our society. Therefore, it is quite fitting to approach this great apostle, ask him to make us share in his faith that led him to gain a crown in heaven. May God bless you. Salve Maria.